this is the farthest thing from like just a movie about a guy with a puppet, you know? I think there's a lot of, I mean, this idea of repression and inability to deal with what you're afraid of, inability to deal with your fear, face your fear, and anxiety and pain. It's a very complex psychological relationship that Kyle is looking at. And it's told in a very humorous and fascinating and funny way because it's a Cockney Beaver. You know, in a sort of general middle-class East Coast existence, you have this Cockney Beaver that's suddenly alter ego to this man. So, like I said, I think that there's a great balance and view on this sort of tragicomic series of events. One of the things that I really liked about it were all the sort of the way the beaver, which is kind of it's a funny animal to pick to use as a metaphor, you know, but it worked out really well in terms of each of the characters in the film, you know, especially the three sort of black family males, you know, Walter, Porter, and Henry. The way each of them, in a way, had these beaver-like qualities of, you know, damming up certain parts of themselves or recreating, you know, recreating bits of themselves and repressing bits of themselves. So I picked up on all that, and it was interesting, and I thought it had a lot of depth, and I just thought it was very funny as well. Sort of a response to Walter's depression. So when we find Porter's main goal is to avoid being like his father, and in general avoid having any sort of personality for fear that it might be his father's. And so in a way, he is going through that, concurrently going through that same process of trying to shut himself down as much as possible, and avoid having any sort of voice, even though it's that fascinating thing of trying not to have a voice and yet you end up having one anyway. You know, it's that voice of, like, I guess, anguish that comes out of trying so hard, you know? And so when we meet him, he's basically writing other people's essays for them, making money, save up for a trip that is supposed to be this escape. So much in terms of personality and so much in terms of who he is. And it all comes from a place of not wanting anything to come out and sort of retain this blank slate, you know. And that, to me, I mean, I'm sort of was and still am in awe of Jodie, so I sort of just wanted to hear anything she would talk about, really, even if it was what she had for breakfast, you know. So Porter and express these qualities that Walter has, and these sort of Beaver-esque qualities within this character, and you know, she's just such an incredible person to sort of behold and speak to. So it was really enlightening, I think, to speak to her about it. It's not the first time that someone tells a story of a clinically depressed individual that is trying to figure out their life and has problems with their family. But I think it will be interesting to see that in the framework of a beaver puppet and